Moment. Welcome to the Life with Joey Calvo Podcast. I am Joey Calvo. Please continue to help the victims of the California wildfires. They do still need our help, even 6 months after the tragedy of the fires and so on. So reach out to any, like the Salvation Army, whatever organizations are still out there helping. So today we have Joseph M. Lenard. He is also nicknamed JLnardDetroit. He's an author, blogger, cancer survivor,
ChristTutionalist.
ChristTutionalist. We're going to learn about that. Podcaster, political activist, speaker, social media influencer, and a writer. Joseph, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. And my friends know I can never pass the lame pun, so I got to play off Calvo. Yeah. How many salvos will you be firing? But I'm pumped, right?
Of course. We'd have to go there. Actually, my last name is Spanish for bald, so yeah. Yep. All right, so
Before we get to, since you mentioned your last name Spanish, mine looks French. It's not Lenard. It's actually Polish. It was Lenard Łaskowicki or something. I've not dug far enough back in the ancestry yet to find out what it originally was. Joseph M. Lenard, Lenard without an O, because there is a Joseph Lenard out of South Carolina. I'm in Michigan. You can see in the background Detroit there.
Yeah, of course. All right, so explain how we got to where we're at right now.
Well, the Cliff Note version, I was born in the 60s, but I'm very much a child of the 80s. My father, Thaddeus M. Lenard, was a musician, had Ted Leonard Jr. and the Polka Kings. They had 3 albums. You can still find them on eBay today. So I got, times aren't like now where anyone can record and put up a song for 99-cent download. Back before the internet days, you had to get a recording contract. I didn't. So I wrote and recorded music. But since that didn't pan out, I, continued poetry. I won a CJOM 89X contest across the river in Windsor, Ontario, Canada for a radio play I wrote. So poetries, radio plays, short stories, novelettes. I'm currently working on one now that's going to be a novelette I hope will drop August 1st. I don't give out the title, but I'm currently calling it Project Carpe Diem because it's about life and living. And a bunch of stuff written locally here in Michigan was available. My first international book, Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You, though, came out in 2022. And as I said, I'm now on my 6th international book.
Okay. And so in reference, now you were also a cancer survivor. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, hence the hairdo or lack thereof, right? It all came out, and I like to joke, you won't believe the tons of money I'm saving on shampoo and conditioner cost by keeping it shaved. But I'm on disability. I've had health problems since 2001. Not 9/11 related, and I have to say that because Terror Strikes Coming Soon to a City Near You novel, people assume, maybe he's 9/11 related injuries. No. I just coincidentally became ill. A former IT guy, stress, anxiety related things, my body and my immune system shut down. So I've been on disability since 2004. All kinds of ailments. 2010 was APL leukemia, and thoughts and prayers to my friend Ed Bondarenka, Wham radio show host, Saturday, Your American Heritage. He's got AML leukemia now, so he's going to be off the air for a while. I said, these blood cancers are pretty easily treatable. It's not nice treatment. It's not fun treatment, the chemo and all that crap. But, some thoughts and prayers to him. But I think he'll pull through like I did, been in remission since 2010.
Okay. All right. And so in reference to, we're going to jump into a little bit of what's going on now in reference to what I might call the destruction of our economy.
Okay.
And I would like your opinion on Trump's beautiful bill.
There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's all. We were promised we weren't going to have any more omnibus bills, and this is why I oppose omnibus bills. There's good, there's bad, there's ugly. You wanted everyone to have a tax increase?
No, of course not.
Okay, then you should have supported the one big fraud bill, as I call it. But, I had to hold my nose and support it for the many good things in it, including permanence of the old tax cuts plus new ones. People I know that work for a living and get occasional overtime, they need that no tax on overtime. Yeah. Waiters and waitresses I know, they need the no tax on their first $20,000 of tips or whatever the amount is, and that will boom the economy.
Right. Yeah, but the only bad part of it is that
spending tons of pork still.
Well, not just that, but also the cuts in Medicaid and food stamps.
So you want taxpayers having their money stolen to give to illegal people who shouldn't be here?
Well, I'm not saying that.
That's where the reductions are, and there are no cuts. States run Medicaid, and if they don't want anyone cut, they don't have to cut anyone. They just have to pony up the money for the illegals, not steal my money to give it away.
Okay. I understand that.
There's all kinds of lies out there about what is in this bill and what is not in this bill. And I don't wear a blue or a red hat. I consider myself a Republican, but Trump, I'm a Catholic who coined the tag nincompoop for Francis. Yeah. No human is perfect. No human is above criticism.
Right.
Nobody's perfect. None of us.
Right. That's correct. Now, the reason why I was saying about the cuts in Medicaid and food stamps is because I get them right now.
And so you're a U.S. citizen, and you'll still continue to get them.
Okay. But it just won't be the big amounts like it was before.
There will be no change to the dollar amount either. The cuts are those who are not entitled to be on the program.
Okay, gotcha.
Period. Simple. My Social Security isn't being cut. I'm on disability, but I damn well want those fraudulently stealing Social Security funds off the system. It is for citizens. And it's going bankrupt unless if we kick those off who have no legitimate entitlement to the program in the first place.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, thank you for clarifying that for me. Because
there's a lot of lies out there. People are good. Children are going to die. Like I said, I was born in the 60s. I went through this shit during the Reagan years. Kids are going to die. G.W. Bush. Kids are going to die. Clinton and Newt Gingrich with the welfare reform. Kids are going to die. No. Charity. You know what? Charity. You don't get to steal from me. I will help. We are to want to be our brothers and sisters' keeper, not biblical community. Hence the ChristTutionalist thing we'll get into. Biblical community.
That's my next question.
Okay.
Explain what that is.
Like I say, I don't like to wear a partisan hat. And also, liberal conservative have become pejoratives in most people's mind. So I say you're either a Christian and of the Bible, the whole Bible, the full Bible, not just the kumbaya Jesus sitting around the campfire, the tough love parts, the whole Bible. So I trademarked the term ChristTutionalist, Christian-based U.S. Constitution, our founding fathers' Judeo-Christian ethos, creation of our Constitution, biblical community, free will. We are to want to be our brother's keeper. That is where charity comes in. You need help. There are charities for that, and we should be given to charities because charities, there are some bad ones, of course, but government is inefficient. Charity is where we should be getting and giving each other help with organizations who only have at most 10% of all donations as overhead. That's why I don't give to Red Cross. I give to Samaritan's Purse. Red Cross pisses away like 50% of the donations that come in on all kinds of administrative costs and paying people for this, that, and the other thing. No, it's supposed to be free will volunteerism. Right. Want to take care of each other, not worldly communism, which is by force, by theft, by redistribution.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Now that we got that all cleared out.
Yeah, no one I know doesn't want to help people who actually need help. But the Bible also says there's a difference between the unwilling and the unable. Those of us who are unable to work need the help. But those who are unwilling, I have no obligation to. Zero. Read the whole Bible, not just the kumbaya parts.
Right. Okay. All right, so let's get to terror strikes now. All right?
All righty.
So have terror strikes stopped during the Wuhan lockdown?
Oh, hell no. Absolutely not. You're just not hearing about it now, of course, the Wuhan hysteria is pretty much past even on fully. People are still getting boosters if they want to get boosters, not paying attention to all the side effects. That it's real. I object to calling it a vaccine, and I got to be careful what I say because YouTube is still fucking touchy about this.
Oh, yeah.
I could say fuck all I want, but if I dare question the jabs that are just a flu shot, they make no one immune to anything. Unlike measles, mumps, tuberculosis. I got the shingles shot, which is 95% effective in making you immune. That's a real VAX, not this, which is just a yearly flu shot. And they demonstrate it by telling you need a flu shot, a booster every year.
Right. Okay, what are GIJIAs?
Gijas, GIJIAS. Yes, and terror strikes coming soon to a city near you. Like I like to say, it's not about death and destruction. Even though terrorism is the thread that holds it together, it's about life and living, as is the sixth book I'm currently working on. I hope will be out August 1st. Geishas. I lost my train of thought there for a second. Yeah, so I coined the term, right? Think back to World War II. National Socialist Deutschland Arbeiter Party.
Right.
Joseph Goebbels shortened it to Nazi Socies. We shortened it even more to Nazis. It's kind of an acronym for Nazi Socialist Deutschland Arbeiter Party, but not really. Geishas To say fundamentalist Islamic radicals doesn't roll off the tongue very well. So I invented the term GIJAs, Global Islamic Jihadist Interim Army Soldiers. GIJAs. Now, that's not to say, and I hate to have to say this, but I do every time, right? People who won't read the book, haven't read the book. Oh, you're racist, you're sexist, you're homophobic, you're Islamophobic, blah, 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 blah. Read the book. It's about terrorism of all kinds. Yes, modern times, the predominant terrorism is GIJAs, but in the book there's a Tokyo chapter where I talk about the Om Sri-Yoko, the Supreme Truth, a Christian doomsday cult that engaged in terrorism because they, as a Christian cult, like the GIJAs, believe it's their job to hasten in Armageddon and bring they're called 12ers, right? Bring the prophet in Islam, or in the case of Supreme Truth, bring about Jesus's return. But if you're reading the whole Bible in full context, that's not our place. That you cannot bring good through evil deeds. If you are complicit in, if you're not sowing good, you're complicit in the evil that you're allowing or helping to indeed hasten revelation in the end times. And nowhere is that justified in the Bible, nor even necessarily the Quran. The GIJAs somewhat twist that. So again, this isn't, oh my God, all Arabs are terrorists, all terrorists are Arabs. No, all Muslims are terrorists, all terrorists are Muslims. No, not about that.
Okay. All right. So who was Arthusa, and what does she have to do with terrorism today?
Well, it's kind of a Nostradamus-like prediction. Arethusa, if you look at it, and Nostradamus was keen at pointing out these odd similarities that seem to be far more than coincident. Arethusa, a Greek god, goddess of the Mediterranean, lady of the lake, the Mediterranean, where a lot of our trouble is coming out of. We see the trouble with Iran and their funding of terrorist organizations, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis in Yemen, that Saudi Arabia is still fighting. We were at peace with Yemen before the Houthis, backed by Iran, were able to take over that nation. But Arethusa ends in USA. Yeah. And according to many, including me, I don't know if I believe it, but it sure doesn't seem to be coincidental. You've got the Middle East, you've got Iran causing problems, and you've got USA in there. And the Arethusa myth is that one day she will return. So.
Okay. All right.
No one's asked me that one in a long time. I had to pause and think about it. I know I wrote on that.
Okay. All right. So next thing is, would a national federal broken windows policing policy have prevented 9/11?
It's possible. For those who don't know what broken windows policy is, it is sweat the small stuff, right? Some people say don't sweat the small stuff. Well, if you take care of the little problems, they don't turn into bigger problems. If we would have properly arrested and deported those who were here they were here illegally because they overstayed their visa.
Mhm.
So they should have been rounded up and deported. They couldn't have been here to hijack those planes.
Right.
So could it have? Yes. Would it have? Maybe somebody else would have done it.
Mhm.
So you know what I mean? Coulda? Yeah. Shoulda? Yeah. Woulda? It's debatable.
Okay. And how are issues of PTSD and or survivor's guilt and suicide prevention addressed in the book of Terror Strikes?
Yeah. Well, I'm not happy to talk about it, but I feel it important that I do discuss it. 2006. I am a suicide attempt survivor. I went from suicide attempt survivor to #1 bestseller in 16 years. That may not be your story, but all life has value and meaning. And in fact, my Project Carpe Diem book that I hope will be out, not under that title, will release on Amazon on August 1st, is also about life and living and all life having value and meaning. You might not see the little things. It's not like a movie, like It's a Wonderful Life, right? That's meant to be overly dramatic to make the point. There may only be little things in your life. You never see them, but they matter. I like to say it's like the Pantene ad, the shampoo. They tell 2 people, then they tell 2 people, then they tell 2 people, right? Sooner or later, you've got an exponential movement, or the butterfly effect. I survived. I helped someone else to survive. They have a child. That child cures cancer. Might not have happened if I weren't here to help them to have that child.
Right. Gotcha. All right. So let's talk about the book, how to write a book and get it published, hints and tips and techniques. So how does this book discuss various motivations and inspirations for writers?
Yeah, and it's not just for aspiring writers. Like anyone who's an avid reader, are you even remotely curious how those books made it to the bookshelf that you read? How to write a book and get it published, hints, tips, and techniques can tell you the behind-the-scenes story, as well as act as aid for someone who's an aspiring author to become published. And I'm sorry, I lost track of the question. You specifically asked.
I said, does the book discuss various motivations and inspirations for writers?
Yeah. Now, you can have personal growth or professional growth reasons for wanting to write a book. Everyone's got stories. Now, if you're John Doe, don't write a memoir. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody's going to care. But you can write a fictional story based on your life that would interest people. Now, if you're a celebrity, obviously you write a memoir. People already know you. They're kind of, to me, people are way too interested in these damn celebrities. I wouldn't ever read any of their books, but people do. But everyone has a story in them. So your reason and motivation behind wanting to write one isn't mine and mine not yours, nor the methodology. I go through different methodologies and you pick what's best for you, give you hints, tips, and techniques along the way that you can incorporate or not in your writing rituals and style. And yeah, writer's block is always going to come. One of the hints is don't set a firm deadline. I've already broken that rule, but I'm on my 6th book, right? I said the 6th book should be out August 1st. Never on your first couple of books say, yeah, it's going to be out by such and such a date, because I could be hit by a bus tomorrow, right? And it won't come out, obviously, if I'm killed. But so you don't want to set a firm deadline, because you only put additional anxiety, stress, and pressure on yourself, and likelihood that writer's block will affect you more because of that stress and pressure. And sit down and write when you're inspired.
Okay. All right. So is handing over the manuscript to a publisher the end of a writer's journey?
Oh, absolutely not. Now, you go back and forth through the editing process. Mm-hmm. You should hire an editor. We're talking in English. I'm assuming we would both write in English. We should have an English major, a U.S. English major, not necessarily, unless if you're writing like Shakespeare. Then you want an Oxford English major to edit the book, and you'll go back and forth, and they'll provide, obviously catch any misspellings, change bad grammar and whatnot. But like in my case, Terror Strikes, I had some wordplay, like the word terror. The phrase terror strikes in and of itself, strikes has got a double meaning to it. Strikes as in an attack, right? An assault. Strikes as in balls and strikes of baseball. There's a baseball sub-thread in it. So I play word games like that, and you may too when you're writing. And an editor may not, if it's your first book with that person, they don't know you yet. So they may say, I suggest you change this word. And if it's like a foreshadow, that word has to be there because it sets up a callback later. So that can't change. But you go back and forth with an editor once it's actually up on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or Books A Million and whatever, you're not done. You've got to do things like this show, right? Promote. And even that, you're not. What about reviews? I go into what to expect and think about and how to spur some reviews and how to write a book and get it published, hints, tips, and techniques.
Okay. And what does the book offer people not interested in writing, publishing, but perhaps a behind-the-scenes view of how a book comes to the reader's hands?
Exactly. I alluded to that earlier already. Indeed. If you have no intention of ever writing a book, you don't think anyone's interested in your story, or you don't think you're good enough, whatever. What? Do you like Stephen King? Do you like J.K. Rowling? Do you like Dean Koontz, who Terror Strikes? My book was compared to a Dean Koontz book. Do you like Tom Clancy? I love the Jack Ryan series of stuff. Okay. How did those come into being? This book shows you that creative process, the publishing process, and all that to make a book available that you can then buy or check out from the library and be able to read.
Okay. All right. One last question I have for you, and in reference to types of books, have you ever thought of doing like a superhero type book?
Well, it's funny you say that. The short answer is no, but the longer answer is in what I'm working on, Project Carpe Diem, about life and living. I guess I could give chapter 2. The character as a youth had an imaginary character. I'm not going to give away the name. But chapter 2, each chapter is going to have its own personal dedication above and beyond the dedications at the front. And chapter 2 is dedicated to Christopher Reeves. R.I.P., brother.
Yep. Yes.
You will always be Superman in my heart.
Yep.
Right? So it's funny that you asked that, because I've written all kinds of genre books. I don't particularly intend to write one of those, but it quasi shows up in Project Carpe Diem hopefully come, not under that title, hopefully on Amazon August 1st.
Okay.
I'm jinxing myself by I keep repeating that. I hope I'm not jinxing myself.
No.
I've actually got the story written. I'm working on the formatting and the whatnot with that now. But again, I mean, I even say in the book, because it's about life and living, I joke. I relate to you. Do you know the group Shooting Star? Does that ring a bell at all? No. I grew up
in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, well, yeah, they were an 80s group. Yeah, and they had a song. You can find it on YouTube called Last Chance. This is your last chance to believe in yourself, your last chance to yell. Your last chance to bite at the apple to turn your life around. So I joke in the book, indeed, being your last chance. We are all but a shooting star to kind of tongue in cheek and wink, 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 nod, nod, nod. Put their name in the book.
Okay.
So.
All right. So Joseph, how can people reach out to you in reference to the books? To
the podcast and everything. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Whoa. Thank you so much. Talk about the podcast real quick.
Well, yeah. The podcast is based on the trademark term ChristTutionalist. It's called the ChristTutionalist Politics Show. Again, about biblical community, the whole Bible in full context, not pick and choose this. Kumbaya, my Lord. No, there's tough love parts in there, too, that are every bit as relevant and important today. So ChristTutionalist Politics is the show based on that term. There are also 2 ChristTutionalist books available through Amazon that, they go hand in hand. The show goes with the books go with the show. And again, it's about talking about our Judeo-Christian ethos foundations and the biblical roots thereof and those trying to take us away from that. So.
Okay. All right. So,
but where can they find me? Yeah. So the books or the podcast, it's easiest to find me. Again, it's not French. It looks like Lenard, but it's Lenard without an O. Joseph JLnardDetroit, and there's a contact page link there, or terrorstrikes.info, the book specific site. And I have Joseph M. Lenard, because there is a Joseph Lenard in South Carolina. And you can see Detroit in the back of me. I'm in a southern suburb, downriver Detroit, Wyandotte in Michigan.
Okay. All right. So you guys can go out to josephmlenard.us or terrorstrikesinfo. Terrorstrikes.info. There we go.
And of course, the podcast is carried on 5 video platforms, 25 plus audio platforms, all the big ones and a whole lot of little ones too. Yeah. In fact, you could go to tinyurl.com/CTP on pod site. I shortened ChristTutionalist to CTP. tinyurl.com/CTP on pod site. It's housed at Buzzsprout. If you look it up there, there's also a send us a text option there. You can reach out that way.
All right. Well, Joseph, you're welcome to come back on this podcast anytime when the new book is coming out and whatever the name of the book will be. And
I gotta keep it hush hush for now, because someone might release a book by the same title tomorrow if I give it away, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's been fun being on the Joey Calvo show.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you everybody for watching the Life with Joey Calvo podcast. God bless you all.